Hey everybody, we're back. Mr. Bremmerger.
Miss Agar.
We're going to talk to you today about electromagnets and the beauty that is what happens when you combine electricity and magnetism. So to start off today, we kind of wanted to give you a little bit more of a guide to follow with respect to our videos, and maybe even use it for note-taking out of the book. So we put together a concept map that is actually going to bring in some of the major concepts that you'll find directly out of the textbook. So now would be an appropriate time to pause, write this stuff down, and kind of use it as a framework for not only our video but also your modeling of information from the textbook for this particular part of the unit.
Alright, so to get started, we have electromagnets. This kind of gives you just the general overview, big picture, what is an electromagnet? So to start, it says a current in a wire creates a magnetic field around that wire. So we've been talking about electricity, those electrons running through a wire, that current. As that current runs through the wire, it's creating a magnetic field around the wire. By turning that current on and off, you can turn the magnetic field on and off, therefore giving us this power to control the magnetic field. So as you begin to think about electromagnets, this is going to look sort of similar to your light bulb activity as you were working to put the light bulb together. We have a battery again, some sort of wire coming through here, and I'm going to kind of talk you through what each of those parts are. So first word we have up here is solenoid. That is going to be this curly part right here. Mr. B is going to tell you a little bit more about that. We have a power source. So in this image, that is the battery. And we also have a switch. So here we have a wire, and it has the ability to be on or off of the battery.
All right, so folks, with respect to the solenoid, simply put, it is a current carrying coil of wire. Now, when you have a current running through it, it will generate a magnetic field around it. So here we have not only just a wire, but a wire that's not curled or coiled in any way, shape, or form, and still it will carry a magnetic field. We can actually increase the strength of that magnetic field by coiling it up, like we have here in the center image. So again, you have your same principles as a magnet when the current is running through it. You have a north pole and a south pole, and they will behave just exactly like a magnet would. And again, let's say we want to take that solenoid to the next level. Right? When it's connected to a power source and you have current running through it, if you just take a ferromagnetic core or anything that's magnetic, run it through the center of your solenoid, and you're going to dramatically increase the strength of that particular electromagnet. And we'll show you that here in a few moments.
Alright, here is a somewhat familiar example of increasing the strength of an electromagnet. You see here in this image a picture from some sort of junkyard, and they use a huge electromagnet to be able to pick up anything from the junkyard that is magnetic. When I was little, I had a movie called The Brave Little Toaster. Don't know if you've ever seen it. You can YouTube it. And there is a scene where there's a huge electromagnet trying to suck up the toaster, attract the toaster that is magnetic with the electromagnet. So check that out. A couple really important points here about how to increase the strength of the electromagnet. You can, one, add more coils to your solenoid. You can increase the current running through your wire, tighten the coils of the solenoid, or use a stronger ferromagnetic material for the core inside of your solenoid.
All right, we want to show you what a typical electromagnet might look like that we'll eventually be putting together. And some of you maybe will even use this initial design for your electromagnetic fishing pole. So first things first, obviously we need some wire and a power source. This wire we will eventually turn into a solenoid by obviously hooking it up to the power. And probably the best way to create the solenoid right away is to wrap it right around your ferromagnetic core. So we can just start to kind of wrap and push these coils together, because obviously, as Ms. Agar just pointed out, one of the best ways to increase the strength of that electromagnet is to tighten the coils. And not only tighten them, but add as many of them as possible around your ferromagnetic core. So we can just continue to tighten and tighten all the way down. Organization here is key. All right, if you start looping some of these coils over the top of one another, that is actually going to kind of counteract the magnetism, and it won't be as strong. So, you're going to want to be as neat as possible when creating your electromagnet.
Mr. B, does this mean that the last slide that we just showed with all the ways to increase the strength of an electromagnet would probably be a really good idea to write down for ideas for making my fishing pole?
Definitely. If you haven't done so already, you're going to most certainly want to write those down, or obviously, rewind and go check them out at this point. So again, here we have just a ferromagnetic core and wire with a whole mess of paper clips right here. As you can see, they don't pick up anything right now, so there is no magnetism whatsoever. But we can change that obviously by adding a power source, connecting both sides of our wire, and we've got a relatively strong electromagnet. Again, the beauty of the electromagnet is having control. All right. So disconnecting the power disconnects the magnetism. It's really as simple as that. So, anything you want to say to finish things up?
Sounds good. Looking forward to seeing the fishing poles.
Absolutely. We'll see you later.